We often say things like, if I had known then what I know now, I would have done things differently, or hindsight is 2020. These phrases point to a simple truth. Clarity often comes after the fact. And with that clarity comes regret, guilt, or frustration over the choices we made. But what if I told you that those mistakes, those moments of misjudgment, are essential? They're the very things that shape the wisdom we carry today. Without those missteps, we wouldn't gain the insights that guide us to make better choices now. The journey to wisdom is paved with errors, and those errors are necessary for growth. Many of us carry around guilt for things we did in the past, actions we wish we could undo. Maybe you were unfaithful in a relationship. Maybe you were part of a group that bullied someone, or perhaps you had a massive falling out with your parents. Whatever it is, the past can feel heavy, like a burden we can't shake. We replay those moments, thinking about how we would do things differently if only we had the knowledge we have now. But here's the thing, that knowledge didn't come out of thin air. It came because of those mistakes. Without them, you wouldn't be the person you are today, equipped with the wisdom to make better choices moving forward. Take a moment to reflect on this. The mistakes of your past aren't irreversible. On the contrary, they're the foundation for your personal evolution. You can rectify past errors, even if it's years later, and even if it's through actions that benefit the next generation. Let's take a look at a powerful example from history. In 1973, actor Marlon Brando won the Oscar for Best Actor for The Godfather. But instead of attending the ceremony to accept the award, Brando sent a young Native American activist, Sachin Littlefeather, to the stage on his behalf. Brando was protesting the film industry's treatment of Native Americans, and Littlefeather's brief, poignant speech called attention to the issue. She was booed off the stage, a painful public moment. But nearly 50 years later, in 2022, the Academy of Motion Pictures issued a formal apology, acknowledging the wrong done to Littlefeather and recognizing the importance of her message. This is hindsight in action, a major institution owning up to its past mistakes and taking steps toward healing. And it's not just about one event. It's a reflection of our collective responsibility to acknowledge the harm done, to learn, and to make amends. The apology may have come late, but it shows us that progress is possible. It reminds us that we have the power to correct our missteps and move forward. Now, let's talk about another story, one that's both inspiring and heartbreaking. It's the story of Jim Thorpe, a Native American athlete born in the late 19th century. Thorpe faced unimaginable personal loss at a young age. His twin brother, who was his closest confidant, died when they were just 9. Then his mother passed away, and not long after, his father followed. By the time he was a teenager, Thorpe had lost his entire family. Despite this, he pressed on, finding solace and purpose in sports. Thorpe didn't just excel in one sport. He dominated in football, baseball, track and field, and even ballroom dancing. His natural athletic ability was unparalleled. In 1912, he competed in the Stockholm Olympics, winning gold in both the pentathlon and decathlon. But there's a twist. Just before one of his events, someone stole his shoes. Undeterred, Thorpe found a mismatched pair in the trash, wore them, and still outperformed everyone. It was a testament to his resilience, his ability to rise above adversity. Yet, in 1913, Thorpe's medals were stripped away because he had once been paid a small amount to play semi-professional baseball, an act that violated the strict amateurism rules of the Olympics at the time. For years, his achievements were tainted by this injustice. But in 2022, more than a century later, the International Olympic Committee reinstated Thorpe as the sole winner of the events in which he had competed. Finally, after years of debate and advocacy, Thorpe was given the recognition he deserved. These stories of Littlefeather and Thorpe show us that hindsight doesn't just exist in our personal lives, it plays a role in society's progress, too. When institutions like the Academy or the Olympic Committee acknowledge their past wrongs, it sets a precedent for taking responsibility for correcting historical injustices. And as members of society, we all play a part in this. Whether it's through our direct actions or through supporting the efforts to right past wrongs, we contribute to the collective growth of humanity. But this responsibility doesn't just apply to global issues. It's also deeply personal. Maybe you weren't directly involved in the mistakes of the past, but in some way, we all inherit the legacy of those who came before us. And just as institutions can correct their wrongs, so can we. Whether it's reconciling with a family member, making amends for something you did in your youth, or simply reflecting on how you've grown, you have the power to take responsibility and make things right. Hindsight is a gift, not a burden. It allows us to see our mistakes clearly, not to wallow in regret, but to learn and grow from them. It's not about being perfect, it's about progress. It's about using the lessons of the past to build a better future, both for yourself and for those around you. So, if you've made a mistake today or at any point in your life, know that you can still make things better. But first, you have to own that mistake. Guilt is a natural part of this process. It helps us recognize where we went wrong. But don't let guilt turn into shame. Guilt pushes us to do better. Shame makes us question our worth. And you, my friend, are worth so much more than any one mistake. Hindsight shows us the way forward. Use it to grow, to heal, and to keep moving.